One of the things I always like to ask people is, where do you see this in 2 to 3 years? Where do you see this in 5 to 10 years? Maybe from each of you guys.
To me, I guess the closing thought would be that if you look at everything that we're talking about and how big the three of us think that this is going to be, there are entire categories of companies that don't exist yet to service some of these needs. There are just enormous opportunities here to start businesses. And so that's really what I'm probably the most excited about, is just some of these capital markets businesses, this infrastructure around how to build applications on top of these things, lending and borrowing and payments. So I think it's just a really exciting time to spend some time to get educated about it and see where those opportunities are.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, my parting thought is this. So the kind of current financial system as it exists today is very uneven, not just within the US, but internationally, depending on which state you reside in, your kind of access to power. You have very variable access to kind of Western financial rails. And in particular, the US banking system was really the gold standard. And it's a multi-tiered model. And the larger number of hops you are away from New York, basically the more expensive it gets. And that's why you have these really inefficient, expensive remittance channels. So in the near term, I see crypto dollars flattening that topology. And that's already happening. So it's only one hop to get into that global clearinghouse, which is on public blockchains, as opposed to 5 hops. So regardless of the inefficiencies or the high fees or the costs of using a system like that, it's already 100x better.
Yeah.
Because it's a single hop, you get to the global clearinghouse value, you're there. So that is a near-term phenomenon which is not going away. I think it's going to make cross-border commerce much easier, B2B settlement. It's going to open up some of these labor markets which weren't really integrated. I think maybe it'll be, who knows, maybe it'll be bad for the wages of white-collar Americans, because it's much easier to do business with people abroad and hire abroad.
Yeah.
It may not be net good for Americans, but it'd probably be net good in terms of creating wealth globally. So that's kind of the near term. Longer term, I think we expect and believe that most, foreign exchange clearance will start to happen on public blockchains. And right now we're talking about 20 billion free float. That number could be 100 billion by the end of next year easily. The only constraints there are kind of balance sheets of the banks backing them. If you hybridize it with a CBDC and you combine it with access to base money, then there's no constraint whatsoever.
Right.
So that number is going to grow by at least an order of magnitude, in my opinion, probably more. So, I mean, you look at the pace of growth, and this is still such a small industry. 20 billion, it seems big, but I think it's pretty small in the grand scheme.
Completely agree. And I've been more frequently saying, I can see a world where there's $1 trillion plus denominated in these types of digital crypto dollars.
Easily.
Yeah.
There's no constraints on the ledger. The ledger doesn't really have any constraints. It scales with value.
Yeah, absolutely.